which is a non-melanoma skin cancer. It's fairly common, it's fairly common. So I was really surprised when she said it came back as melanoma.
Norah O'Donnell, the award-winning CBS News anchor, has just delivered a bombshell that no one saw coming. After years of captivating audiences with her authoritative presence, Norah announced she is stepping away from her career. But the shocking news doesn't end there. Norah also revealed she is battling a tragic health diagnosis that will prevent her from continuing her work. In a heartbreaking twist, she confessed that she blames herself for her condition. What could this devastating diagnosis be? And why does she carry such a heavy burden of guilt? Stay tuned as we uncover the full emotional story. Norah O'Donnell, tragic diagnosis. Norah O'Donnell, the renowned CBS evening news anchor and managing editor, recently shared a deeply personal and terrifying health scare that shook her world. Just a week before Thanksgiving, Norah decided to attend a routine skin check with her dermatologist, a checkup she had neglected for a couple of years. Little did she know, this seemingly ordinary appointment would lead to life-changing news. While out holiday shopping, Norah's phone buzzed with an unsettling email from her doctor. "I'm sorry to bother you during the holiday, but your biopsy came back, and we need to talk," the message read. In an instant, Norah's festive spirit evaporated. Her hands trembled, and tears filled her eyes as she searched for a place to sit. She quickly forwarded the email to her sister, hoping for reassurance. "It's probably nothing serious, maybe basal or squamous cell carcinoma," her sister responded, referencing common and generally manageable forms of skin cancer that their parents had dealt with. But this attempt at comfort did little to ease Norah's mounting fear. Questions raced through her mind. Why couldn't the news wait until Monday? Why now? With a mix of dread and urgency, Norah dialed her dermatologist, Dr. Elizabeth K. Hale. The doctor's voice on the other end confirmed Norah's worst fear. The biopsy results showed melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. Stunned, Norah felt as if the world had stopped. She had always heard of melanoma, knowing it as an aggressive and fast-moving cancer that often ended lives prematurely. She couldn't believe this was happening to her. Was this a death sentence? Was her time running out? She could hardly breathe as she navigated through the bustling Black Friday crowds, each step feeling heavier than the last. In the June issue of Good Housekeeping, Norah opened up about the whirlwind of emotions she experienced that day. She questioned everything. Had she done something wrong? Was this somehow her fault? She couldn't help but blame herself for putting off that crucial skin check. The weight of regret was crushing. But amidst the chaos, there was a glimmer of hope. Dr. Hale explained that because they had caught the melanoma early, it was highly treatable. The diagnosis was melanoma in situ, meaning the cancer was confined to the top layer of her skin. It hadn't penetrated deeper into the dermis, where it could enter the blood and lymph vessels, spreading rapidly to other parts of the body. Essentially, it was a stage 0 cancer, not life-threatening if addressed quickly. Without hesitation, Norah opted for immediate surgery. She needed to take action, to fight back. She described the experience as surreal, looking at the diagnosis report on her phone in the solitude of her car. Melanoma in situ were the words on the screen, a small but critical distinction that meant everything. It meant she had a chance. Ever the journalist, Norah threw herself into research, learning everything she could about melanoma. She discovered it was the deadliest form of skin cancer, responsible for the most skin cancer deaths in young women. But what hit her the hardest was the realization that this could have been prevented. Regular dermatologist visits, better skin care choices, and more mindfulness about sun exposure could have made all the difference. Reflecting on her past, Norah recalled growing up in San Antonio, where 100-degree summer days meant countless hours by the pool, often without sunscreen. In high school, she frequented tanning salons, particularly before prom season. She hadn't known then that using tanning beds before age 35 could increase the risk of developing melanoma by 75%. The numbers were startling. According to Dr. Hale, more people develop skin cancer from tanning than develop lung cancer from smoking. Norah's family history also played a role. With fair skin, a history of moles, and relatives who had battled skin cancer, she was at a higher risk than she realized. She couldn't change the past, but she could change her future. Determined to take control, Norah scheduled surgery for a few weeks later, allowing time for the biopsy site to heal. As a mother of 3, Norah knew that she had to address her health diagnosis with honesty and care. She sat down with her children, Riley, 8, and twins Henry and Grace, 9, and shared the difficult news. Their young faces mirrored a mix of curiosity, fear, and the inevitable question, "Mom, are you going to die?" It was a moment that pierced through the typical walls of parental protection. But Norah, ever the strong and steady figure, assured them that her upcoming surgery would save her life. That night, as her children drifted off to sleep, Norah lay awake, burdened by guilt. She wondered what thoughts circled through their minds. Were they scared? Were they imagining a future without her? It was a heavy weight to bear, but it only strengthened her resolve to fight. After the new year, Norah walked into Dr. Hale's office, ready for the surgery that would remove the melanoma. A 3-inch piece of skin was excised from the upper left corner of her back, leaving a wound that required 25 stitches to close. The healing process was delicate, but Norah wasn't alone. Her children, with their tiny, careful hands, took turns applying healing ointment to her scar. Their participation became a symbol of family unity, a testament to the resilience of love during trying times. Dr. Hale emphasized just how lucky Norah had been. The melanoma was advancing, and had it not been caught in time, the situation could have been much more dire. The simple surgery that saved her life was a result of Norah's decision to visit the dermatologist before Thanksgiving. It was a choice that meant everything, a reminder that early detection can genuinely save lives. When discussing her experience on CBS this morning, Norah didn't hold back. She stressed the importance of annual skin checks, urging viewers to make that appointment they might have been putting off. Her message was clear. Early detection is the key to preventing melanoma from escalating to a stage where survival is not guaranteed. For those with higher risk factors, Dr. Hale recommended even more frequent visits, at least twice a year. Even after her surgery, the journey was not over. The scar on her back remained bright red, a stark reminder of what could have been. While it was visible when she wore certain dresses, Norah chose to see it differently. To her, the scar was not a blemish, but a badge of survival. A constant reminder that vigilance and self-care are vital. It marked not only the end of a frightening chapter, but also the beginning of a new journey toward wellness. Norah's recovery wasn't just physical, it was an ongoing process of vigilance. She continued to see Dr. Hale every 3 to 4 months for checkups. Each visit often led to multiple biopsies, and Norah's sense of humor shone through as she joked about her body resembling a moon, full of craters. Her father, ever the practical voice, told her, "Better craters than cancer." It was a sentiment that grounded her, offering perspective amidst the ongoing reality of living under a microscope of medical scrutiny. As Norah returned to the screen, her story became a beacon of hope and a wake-up call to many. She no longer had to say goodbye to her viewers. She was still there, still delivering the news, and still fighting the good fight. However, just when it seemed that Norah had overcome the worst, an unexpected twist emerged. Something that might lead to her final goodbye on CBS Evening News. What could possibly pull Norah away from the role she fought so hard to return to? The answer might surprise you. Stay tuned as we uncover the next chapter in Norah O'Donnell's remarkable story. Norah O'Donnell bids farewell to CBS News. Norah O'Donnell's departure from CBS Evening News was nothing short of a bombshell. For 12 years, she had been the steady, trusted face of the broadcast, delivering the day's biggest stories with poise and integrity. So when she posted on her Instagram story, filming from the iconic CBS studio, and announced that her time as the anchor was coming to an end, it left viewers completely stunned. What had happened? Was her health taking a turn for the worse? Or was this an unexpected shakeup from CBS itself? Just weeks before, Norah had revealed that she would remain at the anchor desk through Inauguration Day, encouraging her loyal audience to tune in as she marked her final days on air. But with this announcement, speculation ran wild. After all, Norah had become synonymous with CBS Evening News, headlining the show for the past 5 years and earning respect across the industry for her thoughtful journalism. The suddenness of her exit left many wondering if there was more to the story. Explaining her decision, Norah shared that it was simply time for a change. With the presidential election on the horizon, she saw it as a natural chapter to close. Her 7th presidential election as a journalist, a milestone that felt like the right moment to step back. For many journalists, careers are often defined by such milestones, and Norah was no different. Her final day was set for January 24th, but a scheduling shuffle with CBS's coverage of the Farmers Insurance Open meant her farewell would come a day earlier. Instead of the planned broadcast, Norah said her goodbye on Thursday, January 23rd. CBS wanted to ensure her send-off was a national broadcast, not overshadowed by the golf tournament. And what a send-off it was. As the cameras rolled, Norah sat at the anchor desk one last time, a bittersweet smile on her face. But the real surprise came when Oprah Winfrey appeared on the broadcast. Winfrey, ever the master of heartfelt moments, had orchestrated a special farewell for Norah. Winfrey took over the show for what felt like an intimate conversation with Norah and, by extension, with the millions watching at home. "What I really want is to have a conversation," Winfrey said, and she delivered just that. A montage of Norah's best interviews played on the screen, showcasing the grace, compassion, and journalistic integrity she had brought to CBS Evening News. Winfrey described Norah's work as rare, highlighting how she not only reported the news, but did so with heart, offering viewers not just stories, but understanding, context, and sometimes even a much-needed smile. As the show began to wrap up, Norah's colleagues surrounded her desk. The applause was genuine, filled with admiration and a touch of sadness. She had been a leader not just in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes. When it came time for her final sign-off, Norah's voice, always strong and clear, carried a hint of emotion. "I'll miss you too," she said, before closing with, "So for the final time, that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I owe it all to everyone I work with. Seriously, love you. Good night." And just like that, an era ended. Norah O'Donnell, who had brought warmth and credibility to the broadcast, was gone. But the question lingered. What would come next? Who could possibly step into the shoes of someone who had not only delivered the news, but had become a trusted voice in American households? New host for CBS Evening News? When Norah O'Donnell stepped away from CBS Evening News, It wasn't just a change of anchor, it was a complete shakeup of the iconic program. CBS took this opportunity to revamp the show entirely, unveiling a fresh new format that promised to bring a dynamic approach to evening news coverage. Starting January 27th, the show introduced not just one, but 4 prominent voices to fill the void left by O'Donnell's departure. John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois were tapped to co-anchor the evening news from the CBS Broadcast Center in New York, bringing a balanced blend of experience and credibility. Meanwhile, CBS News chief foreign affairs correspondent and Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan took charge of political and foreign affairs coverage from Washington, D.C., ensuring a sharp and insightful perspective on global matters. To complete the team, Lonnie Quinn joined to handle weather coverage, adding his familiar and trusted voice to the broadcast. This new team approach was a stark departure from the O'Donnell era, where Norah had managed everything herself, seamlessly guiding viewers through every story. Now, CBS opted for a more segmented and specialized format, showcasing the strengths of each anchor. It was a bold move, one that underscored a clear shift in direction for the network. But while CBS Evening News moved forward, where did this leave Norah O'Donnell? While she was leaving her nightly post, she wasn't stepping away from CBS entirely. In fact, O'Donnell transitioned into an even more influential role within the network. As a senior correspondent, she now contributes to special reports, high-profile interviews, and investigative pieces across a variety of CBS programs, including 60 Minutes, CBS News Sunday Morning, and other marquee shows. CBS News CEO Wendy McMahon expressed profound gratitude for O'Donnell's contributions to the evening news over the past 5 years. She praised Norah's commitment to journalism and her decision to stay on through the election, demonstrating her unwavering dedication to delivering the news with integrity and depth. According to McMahon, O'Donnell's new role offers her the freedom to bring groundbreaking stories to a broader audience across CBS and Paramount platforms, a remarkable opportunity for a journalist of her caliber. This transition also offers O'Donnell a chance to showcase her talents beyond the anchor desk. Her new position grants her the flexibility to leverage significant interviews and delve into in-depth reporting, something she has consistently excelled at throughout her career. It's clear that while Norah may no longer be the nightly face of CBS Evening News, her impact on journalism is far from over. For viewers, though, there will undoubtedly be a void. O'Donnell's poised delivery, her empathetic storytelling, and her ability to navigate complex news stories with a human touch made her a beloved figure on the broadcast. As the network steps into this new chapter, fans of O'Donnell will surely miss her presence at 6:30 p.m. Now, let's take a look at some of Norah's memorable moments as a TV host on CBS. Norah O'Donnell's top memorable moments with CBS. Norah O'Donnell's career as a CBS anchor has been marked by a series of unforgettable moments that have not only showcased her journalistic prowess, but also solidified her as one of the most respected voices in American journalism. One of her standout moments was undoubtedly her groundbreaking interview with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This interview was not just any sit-down, it was the first time in 13 years that a U.S. television network had been granted full exclusive access to a Saudi leader. Traveling to Saudi Arabia for a week, O'Donnell conducted the interview for 60 minutes, asking Prince Mohammed bin Salman the hard-hitting questions many were eager to hear. She didn't shy away from the tough topics, confronting him on Saudi Arabia's role in the Yemen civil war, human rights abuses, and the kingdom's complicated relationship with Iran. This interview demonstrated O'Donnell's skill in navigating sensitive geopolitical issues and underscored her ability to hold even the most powerful figures accountable. It was a moment that not only added to her credibility, but also set a new benchmark for U.S. journalism on the global stage. Another iconic moment in O'Donnell's career came in 2016, when she secured an in-depth interview with then Vice President Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. This was no ordinary interview. It was the first time Biden had spoken extensively following his decision not to run for president after Barack Obama's term, a decision that surprised many. It was also the first extended interview the Bidens had given since the heartbreaking death of their son, Beau Biden. What makes this interview even more remarkable is the story behind it. O'Donnell had turned down several shorter interview opportunities with Biden because she was determined to land a full, in-depth sit-down. Her persistence was relentless. She admitted that in 2016, not a day went by without her emailing Biden's chief of staff, the White House press secretary, and even President Obama himself. It took 4.5 years of constant pursuit, but her tenacity paid off. The interview aired on 60 Minutes and was a raw, emotional, and insightful conversation that resonated with viewers. For her efforts, O'Donnell was honored with the White House Correspondents Association Merriman Smith Memorial Award in broadcast journalism, a testament to her dedication and perseverance. One of O'Donnell's most extraordinary moments on screen was her interview with Pope Francis. This wasn't just a typical media opportunity. It was one of the rare in-depth interviews with a sitting pope to air on a U.S. broadcast network. Given how rarely Pope Francis sits down for interviews, this moment was monumental. During the interview, the Pope addressed several pressing contemporary issues, including the Vatican's stance on the blessing of same-sex couples. O'Donnell's thoughtful questions allowed Pope Francis to clarify the controversial declaration issued by the Vatican's dicastery for the doctrine of the faith. He explained that while he did not endorse blessings for same-sex unions, he did support blessings for individuals, showing the nuanced approach of the Catholic Church under his leadership. These interviews are just a glimpse into O'Donnell's impressive career. Each of these moments not only highlighted her interviewing skills, but also emphasized her ability to tackle challenging topics with grace, depth, and integrity. As we continue to explore her story, let's take a closer look at how she built a career that would eventually lead her to these incredible high points. Norah O'Donnell rise to fame. Norah Morahan O'Donnell's journey from a young girl with Irish roots to a leading voice in American journalism is nothing short of inspiring. Born on January 23, 1974, to Irish parents Noreen Bernadette and Francis Lawrence O'Donnell, Norah's story began with a rich cultural heritage. 3 of her grandparents were Irish immigrants, and her maternal grandfather even lived in the United States illegally for 16 years. When Norah was just 3 years old, her family moved to San Antonio, Texas. A few years later, they relocated to Seoul, South Korea, where Norah had her first taste of broadcasting. As an elementary school student, she recorded English lessons for the Korean Educational Development Institute, a sign of things to come. Eventually, the O'Donnell family returned to San Antonio, where Norah completed her education at Douglas MacArthur High School, graduating in 1991. She then pursued higher education at Georgetown University, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy in 1995 and a Master of Arts degree in liberal studies in 2003. Shortly after graduation, Norah began her professional career as a staff writer for Roll Call, where she covered Congress. However, it was at NBC where her career truly began to soar. Over 12 years at the network, Norah wore many hats, from commentator on The Today Show to chief Washington correspondent for MSNBC and White House correspondent for NBC News. She also contributed as an anchor on Weekend Today and provided reports for major NBC programs, including NBC Nightly News, The Today Show, Dateline NBC, and MSNBC. Her dynamic presence also made her a regular on The Chris Matthews Show. In July 2011, O'Donnell joined CBS as a co-anchor for CBS This Morning, marking the start of a new and influential chapter in her career. She quickly rose through the ranks, demonstrating a keen sense of journalism and a knack for hard-hitting interviews. By May 6, 2019, Norah was named anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News. She became the network's lead anchor for political events and continued contributing as a correspondent for 60 Minutes. Her roles at CBS spanned far and wide, including chief White House correspondent, fill-in anchor for CBS Evening News, and co-anchor for CBS This Morning. She also served as the anchor and managing editor for CBS Overnight News. Currently, Norah has transitioned into a new role as a senior correspondent at CBS, where she continues to contribute to special reports, big interviews, and in-depth investigations across various CBS programs. Norah O'Donnell's dedication to journalism has earned her significant recognition. She was named one of Washington's 100 Most Powerful Women and appeared on Irish America magazine's Top 100 Irish Americans list. In September 2001, she won the Sigma Delta Chi Award for breaking news coverage of Dateline NBC's story, DC in Crisis. Her excellence in journalism was further recognized in 2008 when she received an Emmy for outstanding live coverage of a breaking news story. In 2018, she added another Emmy to her collection for a 6-month investigative report on assault at the Air Force Academy for CBS This Morning. The same year, she received an honorable mention from the White House Correspondents Association for the Edgar Allan Poe Award, a testament to her exceptional work and integrity as a journalist. Beyond her professional accolades, Norah leads a fulfilling personal life. She resides in Washington, D.C. and New York City's Upper West Side with her husband, Jeff Tracy, the owner of the D.C. restaurant Chef Jeff's. The couple, who married in June 2001, are proud parents to 3 children, Grace, Henry, and Riley. Norah O'Donnell's story is one of perseverance, passion, and professionalism. Despite her recent health diagnosis and departure from CBS Evening News, she remains a pivotal figure in journalism, contributing her voice to important stories and continuing her legacy at CBS in a senior correspondent role. What do you think of Norah O'Donnell's remarkable career and her transition to a new chapter at CBS? Do you believe the new anchors will live up to her legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that captivate and inspire.